Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me on the very first episode of Imprint Impressions RC. I'm your host, Dan, and I'm coming to you from my workshop in my shed. Now, eventually, I will be setting up an office space, a workspace indoors in my house where I can have slightly nicer looking videos. But for right now, I do apologize for the backdrop. It's what I got to work with. So, on the very first episode, I'd like to discuss my journey into the RC world, down the Wonderland rabbit hole, so to speak. It started about 7 years ago. My fiance bought me an Arma Granite, which was like a basher truck. And I thought, okay, cool. Well, I'm going to give this a try. And then I realized I want something that goes a little slower, because I like to hike. And it's really hard to hike with a basher truck that's doing 30 miles an hour. So I wound up purchasing an Axial SCX-10, the OG SCX-10 as everyone calls them. And it was a nice truck to get me started into the trailing and crawling world. I did wind up doing upgrades on it. Axial wasn't really notorious back then for having the most reliable plastic parts that would not break. I'm not saying anything bad about Axial. The plastic back then was new to them. The design of a trail truck was new. They were getting into a new field. But luckily, they also started releasing their own aluminum upgrades for it, which was really nice. Like, it had plastic links and C-hubs and knuckles and everything. And they started releasing their own upgrade kits to aluminum. And of course, other companies followed suit from China. But it was a neat truck. It got me started in the world of trail trucks and crawling, that I eventually fell in love with. And I've owned every 10th scale Axial all the way up to the new 3. I've owned a SCX-10 too, which by far was my absolute favorite truck. I don't know why Axial walked away from the platform. It doesn't really make sense to me. Maybe it doesn't make sense to you either. I thought the 10.2 was the best platform that Axial had come out with. Especially after owning a 10.3, I was just not impressed at all. And again, I'm not hating on Axial. I love their products. It's just, I think they should have stuck with the 10.2 design, the way they had it, because it was bulletproof and there was nothing wrong with it. In my opinion, there was nothing wrong with it. But then I bought a Traxxas TRX4, which was also a nice vehicle, very capable. I did come to realize over time, though, I was not really a fan of portal axles. And I definitely was not a fan of all the different servos that it had in it for the diff lockers and the 2-speed. It was too much. And I stepped away from that. Now, Traxxas does make a good product. Not going to hate on Traxxas either, because I've owned one of those. Currently in my lineup, I have 2 SCX-10 3s, and 2 Red Cat Gen 7 Pros, which, if you're getting started in the RC world, I definitely recommend the Red Cat Gen 7 Pro. For the money, it sells for about $280. For the money, it's not a bad starter truck. I'm not saying it's the best. It's comparable to the original SCX-10. The steering servo sits on top of the axle, and it's got the thinner, plastic axle housings, but for the money, as a starter truck, it's not bad. And they make the same aluminum upgrades for that like they did for the SCX-10, the original. There's tons of aftermarket upgrade performance parts that you can put on them. All kinds of aluminum upgrades. They do come with aluminum links though, which was kind of nice. The original SCX-10 had plastic, but the I'm currently looking over at it. The Red Cat Gen 7 Pro does have aluminum links, which is a nice addition. I'm also the current owner of a Trailfinder 2, which I'm actually getting rid of. I'm trading to a guy for a SCX-10 3 ready-to-run frame. And a ready-to-run truck, basically. I just have to put my own transmitter and receiver in it and a battery. The Trailfinder 2s are nice. They're nice trucks, but they have a hard plastic body. This is really where the drawback is for me. They have a hard plastic body. It's the Trailfinder 2 from RC 4-wheel drive is a scale. It's supposed to be a scale truck, a more realistic life truck. And they do a good job with that. They do a very good job with that. It's a very, very scale body. It's also made out of hard ABS plastic. And they break. See, I prefer Lexan. Lexan flexes. It's very hard to break Lexan because of the fact that it's very flexible and maneuverable. Hard plastic, it doesn't flex. I found that out last weekend. I took it to a hiking trail. I was trailing through a creek, doing some rock crawling, a little submarining. I'll also have a video on waterproofing as well, and the techniques that I use to completely waterproof my RC trucks. And it tipped over in the creek, and the roof smacked a rock and cracked the roof about 3/4 of the way down, and actually even top, like about that much of the windshield too. It's definitely a truck for enthusiasts, but I feel personally that you have to be really into them to really want to work with it, so to speak, if that makes sense. I'm not that into them. I'm not a Trailfinder 2 fanatic. I don't think it's a bad truck, but it's not my forte. It's not my taste. I'm kind of a diehard Axial fan, and I do like the new Red Cat Gen 7s. I'll also be doing videos of each one of my individual trucks, and on the videos that you'll see following, we'll actually have a neat introduction to them, a little slideshow introduction. I haven't had time to get on my Mac and load all that up. But I guess something else we could talk about getting into the RC world is tools. A lot of people buy MIP tools, nothing wrong with that. A lot of people buy Traxxas. A lot of people buy Duratrax tools. There's nothing wrong with any of those. I will show you the tools that I use. It's right here. This came off of Amazon. I can't tell you what brand it is. It doesn't even have a brand name on it anywhere that I can see. But it comes with 1.5 millimeter, 2 millimeter, 2.5, 3, a Phillips head, and a 7 millimeter socket bit. And it's magnetic. It just pulls straight out. Little, kind of like a locking ring here. And it's got a magnet inside. I bought it on Amazon. I want to say it was like $13 for the set. one MIP bit will cost you about the same price. I haven't had any problems out of it. I haven't had a stripped bit yet. And I've been wrenching with these for quite some time. And I also invested in something that's actually very important to have in the RC world, is mini pliers, and these are very dirty. Had them out in the trail with me. It was really muddy. Is miniature pliers, micro pliers. I buy mine from Harbor Freight Tools. I think I bought a whole set for like $6. I have a tendency to shop cheap, but I don't buy really horrible products. I just buy slightly cheaper products, if that makes sense. I don't feel that in this hobby you have to spend a small fortune to have nice things that work. Prime example, on my current SCX 10.3, I have a servo winch. For what it would cost me to build one, Injora, who by the way makes a lot of really nice RC products, Injora actually makes a servo winch that you can buy on Amazon for like $30. It comes with the spool, comes with line, comes with wire, comes with a hook. So for what it would cost me to go buy a $30 waterproof 35 kilogram servo from Amazon, and then have to strip it apart, and then have to modify it and spend money to make one, you just buy one from Injora, because, well, they're all made in China. They're all made out of the same stuff. It's waterproof. It's metal gear, ball bearings. And it was like $35. It's strong. I actually use, for winch line, I use 60-pound test braided spider wire. I don't think I have that. No, it's in my drawer. But strong stuff. And servo winches are a lot stronger than scale winches. Scale winches being, well, it looks like a scale winch. Usually screws onto the front bumper, and just looks like a miniature model of a realistic winch. And they do work. They can lift about, I think most of them lift about 8 to 9 pounds. Deadlift, rolling lift, I think is around 12 to 15, depending on what brand you get. But I've spent quite a few years in the hobby now. I've met a lot of really cool people. Have met a few bad apples. Does happen. It happens anywhere you go with humanity. I have met a lot of really cool people. I've made a lot of friends. Got sponsored by a hobby shop a few years back. I've been to Beat the Creek in Maysville, Kentucky numerous times. And every time I go, it has gotten better and better and better. I'm going again this year. He has even more trails this year than the last time I went, which was 2018, I believe, was the last time I went. And he's got even more trails this year, even more fun stuff. There's going to be like 1,000 people there. It's a huge event. People come from all across the country to go to it. And yeah, it's going to be a fun time. That happens the first weekend of May. It's on Facebook. You can find their Facebook page for the event. It's Beat the Creek, down in Maysville, Kentucky. I live in Ohio, so that's south for me. But there's people that come, honestly, all the way from California, all the way from the East Coast, Florida, California. People come for this event. It's gotten really big, and a lot of people like it. It's a good time. It's kind of like a trailing event. It's not really a competition. It's more of a bring your rig, bring your trail truck, your crawler, and load up on some batteries and a whole bunch of water. and possibly rain gear, because it does rain there. And just come for a weekend, spend 2 days running trails and having fun. That's pretty much all it is. But it is a neat place to go. It's a neat event. That's been my journey through the RC world. Now, my fiance prefers, she does have a truck, Red Cat Gen 7 Pro, but she does prefer the high-speed stuff. She used to have a Traxxas Slash brushless four-wheel drive short course truck that could do 60 miles an hour. It was a little ridiculously fast, but she enjoys it, so I'm not going to take that away from her. She likes the fast stuff, and I am going to be getting short course truck sometime in the next few months, so I'll be able to upload some go fast videos for you, maybe even some GoPro footage of doing 30 plus miles an hour. As part of Imprint Impressions RC, this is the RC side of it. We actually are starting up our own business. I'm going to be doing 3D printing of RC accessories. I'm also going to be doing airbrushing of RC bodies. I actually have one right here. Can't really see it because it's clear, it's Lexan, but this is the Axial Ford Bronco body, and that's going to get custom painted. My fiance is designing some emblems for me to stick on the inside on her Cricut, maybe I think that's what you call it. The thing that cuts out vinyl for shirts. Well, she's going to put some sticker paper in there, and she's going to design some special stickers for me to put on the inside of that Lexan, because Lexan gets painted on the inside, not the outside, for me to do a custom paint job on the body. Right now we're trying to decide between a Halo or Assassin's Creed theme. Not quite sure. I will show you. This is what the Axial Bronco body looks like. The interior is separate from the actual body shell, so it's a little bit different. But yeah, that's going to be coming up. I already have someone who needs like 3 trucks airbrushed. Unfortunately, I have to wait till it gets warmer before I can do that. And then she has her side of the business, which is Imprint Impressions. And she will be doing custom vinyl shirts. We've already done some for a friend, for an event at work. We've done a couple for our daughter, for a school event and her birthday, just to, test the waters, just see how good it turns out. And so far, the shirts have come out looking pretty good. I'm really impressed with the job that's been done on them. So now this is the RC side of things of the business, and hopefully in the next couple months I'll have my 3D printer set up. I am going to start 3D printing all sorts of scale accessories, trailers, pretty much anything I can, any 3D print file I can get my hands on, I'm going to start printing. And also going to be printing out stickers as well, little scale stickers, little sticker designs that she's going to draw up on her computer and cut out using her Cricut, whatever they call it. And we had a business several years back, 3D printing scale accessories and doing custom paint jobs, and we actually took like a medium sized box with us to Beat the Creek, and it was packed full of 3D printed scale accessories, including functional jack stands. Like you could actually pull the pin, raise it, put the pin back in, it would stay there. And we also had a few unpainted and unsanded pieces, and also had some prototype pieces as well with us. And I literally sold out of everything. We went down there on a Friday and set up. I sold out of everything by Saturday morning. We wiped out the whole box. I made some good money that weekend. Definitely recovered costs of what I spent on filament. Yeah, it's a good business to get into. It's a hard market, but it's a good business. As a side hustle, I'm not saying don't quit your day job, but as a little side hustle, it's a good business. I will say that I have had a few bad experiences in the hobby. One was enough to get me out of the hobby for a couple years. Very bad experience. I don't want to talk about it. Doesn't need to be aired out. But it knocked me out of the hobby and put a sour taste in my mouth for a couple years. But I'm not going to make in a 1-hour video, but I wanted to do kind of an introduction as to who I am, what this channel's about, and my journey into the RC world. And do me a favor, if you haven't already, hit the like and subscribe button, and stay tuned for more videos of trailing action and some POV videos from inside my rigs looking out the windshield while I'm out on the trails, and later on in a few months even some speed videos for you speed freaks out there that like going fast over climbing over rocks through a creek. Anyway, y'all take care, stay nice to each other, catch you later.